His Lens, My Image podcast. I am your host, Myesha Price. And today I have a wonderful guest with me. His name is Aaron Williams. He was born in New Jersey. He is the oldest of 2 children. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in retail management from J.C. Smith University. Come on, give it up.
Give it up, give it up. The real Golden
And everything else about Aaron, you will learn in this conversation.
Right.
As we are celebrating this month, it is Pride Month, and we're honoring fathers and just having the conversation and open things up, because I feel like it's just a topic that people shy away from, but we don't want to do that. This is a place of safety. This is a place for people to be themselves and to have the conversation, the hard conversations that people don't want to talk about. So thank you, Aaron.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, when I first met Aaron, man, I was just like, and I was just thinking about somebody had a conversation. I was like, I asked his coworkers, I said, y'all think Aaron would be interested? They was like, oh my God, he would love to have it.
They called, I was off work, so I got the call. They were like, oh my gosh, we have the greatest opportunity for you. Myesha's gonna call you. I was like, let me call her when I get to work. So when I got to work, called you up, I said, oh, I will definitely join the interview for you. Yes, ma'am.
And I appreciate it. So, Aaron, tell me what was like for you growing up.
Well, I was a church boy.
Okay.
Grew up in the church. My mom was a minister of music.
Oh, boy.
She plays the piano. My grandma was in the choir. My aunt was in the choir. Everybody was in the church. So there was no way around it. I was also in the YPD. It's the Young People's Division. Mm-hmm. I was also a assistant president of the committee. Mm-hmm. But being gay, I wasn't able to fully live my truth as a young kid. So, growing up wasn't easy for me because, let's see.
You know what that is when you start rubbing your legs like,
I just felt like I was living, I don't want to say living in a lie, but I was just living in the closet literally until I moved to Charlotte for college. My grandparents were the old ways, stuck in their ways. So to be gay around them, it wasn't, my grandmother wasn't comfortable around that. So it was a lot of hiding, telling them that I do have girlfriends, even though I did have girl companions, but it was more so me dealing with guys when I was younger, but never being able to confess to my parents.
To be yourself.
To be myself.
Now, what denomination did you grow up in?
When you say denomination.
So, y'all Church of God in Christ?
AME.
AME?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you know how that goes. So you know how the AME goes. So,
oh, boy.
Even church ladies, sitting next to certain church ladies, you couldn't act a certain way. So me to be out and open in the church, it was not okay when I was growing up. So, and now to see everybody being free and how they are in church now, I just love that for them. Because me growing up, it wasn't like that,
But it's really mind-boggling that people can be so critical.
Yeah. And
especially the church community. And it's funny, while you were saying that, a song popped in my head.
Which one?
Jesus loves the little children. All the children
of the world.
Red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. So how is it that he loves us and then yet the people of the church, and the Bible also tells us that how can you love me and not love your brother and sister whom you see every day?
Every day.
So how is it that you can turn away and shun me? Which it's always been mind-boggling to me, because I'm like, the church looks down on the gay or LGBT community. Mm-hmm. And if I'm getting them letters wrong, don't be trying to hang me. Okay, people, okay, I got y'all, okay? But that they can shun that world as if they don't exist, or condemn them, when I'm like, but the deacon's sleeping with the usher. I'm confused. So him cheating is fine.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Him cheating is fine. But me liking little boys and because I'm a boy, or I'm a girl liking a girl, that's a problem. That's so when do we make this acceptable? who determines how these rules are
go away
or what's the exceptions to the rule?
Right. Who makes it? That's my look, and I'm in the community, and I don't even know when it transferred. So it's just like, I don't know.
So being young, when you were growing up, did you always know knew you were gay, or was it something that you were like experimenting or trying to figure out what you wanted to do?
I feel like it was more so like experimenting. Mm-hmm. Being young, nobody teaches us what to like, even though they do teach us, man and woman, mm-hmm. but you really can't teach a child what they can and cannot like. Mm-hmm. So with me, it was more so, I'm still going to play the straight role, mm-hmm. but deep down, I'm going to, fondle my eyes looking at, these beautiful men that's out here.
Right. That's just a very interesting area.
Because to be honest, I only did, it's funny, I only did something with a female one time, mm-hmm. and that was in 6th grade. Okay. And I just felt like...
I don't like this.
Yeah, that wasn't for me. Like, I don't think I'm going to like that. And then, I ended up being in the track team and then being in the locker room with guys. Seeing that, I was just like, okay. But I was still young, so I didn't want to full life take those kind of encounters mm-hmm. until I actually was of age. So when I got to college and I was at my parents' house, it was just like, oh, I'm free. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do this.
Right. Because sometimes people like to characterize, a person turned gay because some traumatic experience happened in their life at a young age. Would you say that is a contributing factor, or is it was it a contributing factor for you, or is it just that a person just may not like that particular gender?
I think for me, it was more so because I didn't have like that bad experience, mm-hmm. like, some people do. Mine was more so, I don't think I liked females or girls at the time. Mm-hmm. They were just really like my girls. Mm-hmm. Like they were my friends. And they were really the only ones that I can get along with. Mm-hmm. Because, getting along with guys, it was more so, I was always switching and I was always, acting like this or doing that. So guys didn't really want to, even though I was the guy, I want to say I was the guy that had all the girlfriends. So mm-hmm. that's why guys wanted to be my friends growing up, because I can get them the connections with females. And that was, as you left, that is so fun. I feel like I was a lot of, men weren't my friend. They were just wanting me to be the wingman so they can get to the girl.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, because I think about when I was in college, I was friends with I was always been friends with a lot of more guys than I was girls. Mm-hmm. I was like, girls are very catty. I didn't like it. So I was like, I didn't really care to be around them a lot. So I had a lot of male friends that were in fraternities. Mm-hmm. And then I had a lot of girlfriends that was either AKAs or Deltas and stuff. And I would always hear my girlfriends talking about, oh my God, I like this person, right, I like that person. And then I would hear, they was like, Ma, such and such. Hook me up with them. And then it would be them. Yo, Ma, tell your girl, let me talk to her. It's like, what do I look like? Matchmaker or something?
And that's how I felt growing up. Am I the matchmaker or am I actually trying to get friends? So it was just like, I don't know. It wasn't as bad as, I did, think it was going to be, but I did have to live in the secret because of all the guys that were, my dad. Mm-hmm. I wanted to make my dad proud, and I felt like my dad wouldn't have been proud the fact that he had, both of his sons were gay. You feel me?
Right.
And I just felt like at least one of them had to, which was me being the oldest, I just felt like I had to be the son who had to play that role of.
So you carried a weight of trying to please your father.
Correct. Family period, but mainly mom and dad.
Right.
And mom and dad, really.
And sometimes that's it for in a lot of cases where we don't want to be a disappointment or a disgrace to our family. So we choose to go down a different path so we don't disgrace him. But in going down that path, sometimes that path is not our truth.
Right. And
because and then we get mad at ourselves, and then we envy them because it's like, I'm doing this for you so the way you can be pleased. And it's like, dude, you're supposed to live your life for you.
Right. And that's why I felt like I took that route to go to college as well. Because I felt like if I would have stayed in the house with my father, me and him would have bumped heads because we're just alike. So I felt like with me being away, me being able to grow away from my father, I was able to find myself. Then when I was comfortable with myself, I was able to have like those confrontations with my father. But it was hard in high school because I just had to make sure I was good. On his good side, and I had heart palpitations, and I was scared, like not like scared of him, but like just me being not who I was in front of him, lying to him and stuff like that. So it was a lot.
It's funny that you talk about moving to Charlotte was like a safe place for you to come true to yourself.
It was.
Because that's what it was for me too.
Yeah.
I don't know in Charlotte what Charlotte is about. I don't know what it is about that.
Like I don't know if it's like real people down there or something.
But it's like it's that place of identity, finding you. And
I found myself.
Right.
I literally found myself in Charlotte. It took a long time, but because I didn't fully come out that I was, gay until I was 25.
Wow.
And I'll be 30 in 2 months. So
what was that like coming out? Like, how did you go about living in that truth?
And when I did come out to everybody, you know what everybody told me? I already know. I was just waiting on you. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh. So, like I said, I just put like a lot of stress on myself for no reason, knowing that everybody was so accepting and, my family was so accepting, but it didn't feel like that growing up. Everybody was hard. Everybody was so masculine. So the fact that when I did come out and it was like a big weight off my shoulder, everybody was like, I was just waiting for you. Even my parents. Both my parents said they were waiting for me to come out myself because it was a me thing.
Absolutely.
So the fact that I came out and I heard that from them, I was just like,
okay, we good.
Yeah. I don't got high nothing no more. We can
live life now free.
We can live free for real. But I'm pretty happy now.
But see, I think that's such a great thing that they were open. Although it's like, yeah, we knew that already. We should right. You. But because of what you saw, it traumatized or scares you into not wanting to say something because of the fact of you see how everybody like, oh shoot, you raised in a religious home. Right. We go to church every week day, and we hear the opposite of what I'm holding into. Exactly. So it's like it doesn't create an atmosphere for you to be honest, for you to live in your truth, because I'm not sure how you're going to respond to this. Exactly. Are you going to shun me? Are you going to act like I'm not your child? Are you going to act like y'all not related to me because I'm gay? Like, because that's just me? But to have a family that was acceptance, because that's not always the case for people.
And that's why I was happy too, because everybody's not accepting. At all. I even have friends in the community who lost their relationships with their families because of them coming out and trying to live their truth. So when I was able to come out to my parents, I was really like taken back because it was a lot. So, and then like I feel like my, with me being gay, my biggest thing was not being able to tell my grandmother when she did pass away. So she didn't never know. No, because my grandmother was not. She didn't play that. She was not. She's very old school. She's very church. She was a church lady, in the African American. In the AME church. Not so AME church, right? So and how that is. So my grandmother was not. She was very against it. So,
but in retrospect, do you think that she would have shunned you?
No, that's why. I felt like me growing up, holding everything in from everybody, I didn't have to do that to myself. Because my grandmother wasn't the closest person that was my best friend. I literally told her everything besides that one thing.
She probably wouldn't know. She probably like, baby,
I know, and that's
you was playing with them hair bows, and I saw you.
Because she did hair too. She was a beautician, so she probably did, playing with the head doll. So
like this, he got that a little bit too straight.
No,
this boy ain't gonna be no. Y'all playing.
Oh man, I miss her. Rest her soul, man. I miss her. Love her to death. But yeah.
So you kind of touched on it, but what was one of the challenges of outside of just the fear of family, even just being a gay man in America? What was one of those challenges that you feared or faced?
Well, with me living in Charlotte, being a gay man in the South, that was different as well. By myself, no family, literally fending for myself. I never had any crazy encounter or anybody disrespecting me. But I did have, excuse my language, I was called a faggot before in public. And I did react to that because I'm not a faggot, you know what I mean? I'm still a male, I'm still me. And I just don't like being called out of my name. So I did have an altercation like that. With me being a teacher as well, I did have a little altercations with students, saying, he sounds like a girl. My teachers, acts like a woman, I had stuff from children, and,
So you taught in the school district?
I did. Okay. I taught preschool in Charlotte Mecklenburg system.
And kids?
Correct. 4 and 5.
We're saying this.
This is 4 and 5.
That's taught behavior.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Living in the South, it was different. I feel like if I taught up here, it probably wouldn't have been.
But it's just baffling to me because it's okay.
But you got to think about what's on TV too. These kids are watching a lot of things on TV.
But we see stuff on TV. I just was talking to somebody today that they making it so open and freely. It's a cartoon when they're talking about pride.
It's literally on cartoon.
I was watching the cartoon. Is they talking about the pride sex in the cartoon? I was like, oh, okay. This is a lot.
Look, RuPaul has a cartoon on Netflix now. So
I'm it's more open now than it was years ago. Now, granted, we knew the OG, gay men.
Right.
Although they were manly, you're more masculine, but we knew
what you was doing. Correct.
Okay.
We knew.
Yeah, we know Uncle Peaches. Absolutely.
Literally, Uncle Peaches. Oh my gosh. Uncle Peaches.
Listen, we knew. We knew what it was about.
We definitely
But
did.
it's very interesting to me how we can say this particular cluster is not accepted, but hoes and whores are. I don't understand. So
that's
it's wrong for you to be gay, but it's okay for you to have 12 baby moms and got women fighting and shit. I'm confused that's okay. And God can forgive that. But he can't forgive my okay. All right.
So I gotta scratch my head every time, right? I gotta scratch my head every time.
Make me feel like I'm preaching a sermon here.
So confused. I never understood why the LGBTQ we get hit for a lot of things in the community. I don't know why.
And it's again,
we get bashed for a lot of things.
The church, in particularly. Now, I've been raised in church all my life. I'm not saying the church, but I just feel like the culture of why the church is what the church is supposed to be is so far from it today.
Correct.
We shun.
Correct.
We look down. We criticize. We belittle. Very judgmental. We put preachers and pastors on these pedestals high above God. We honor them more than we honor God.
I never understood.
Listen, we would go to all their anniversary services, but won't pray to God about Jack. I'm a little confused.
No, for real.
I be trying not to be rude in church, but when they be stand to your feet for the preacher or the bishop's coming in or stand for the first lady, I'm like this. But y'all don't stand and clap when somebody's singing a song that's worshiping God. I'm confused. We worshiping God, but we got to fight you to stand and do that. But if the preacher walk in with all of his garb on, then that's okay. We're supposed to all rise to our feet at a standing ovation for that. And that's acceptable.
And that's why, after, again, moving to Charlotte, I never went back to an AME church because I felt judged in there.
Absolutely.
You know, walking in that church, you had to walk on eggshells. You know, you had the ushers in the back looking at you, the missionaries in the front looking at what you're wearing, you know. So it was just like AME, it wasn't, you know, for me. But trying to find a church, and it was hard too, trying to find what was a good church to go to, because I tried the Baptist, I tried, you know, the AME, the Pentecostal. So just trying to find the right church, but AME
ain't it?
Is not it. Especially for us gay men. It's not it.
And you know, it's really sad because I'm like, I see so many people, because of my line of work, I see so many people shun away from the church every day. And I tell people all the time, I said, I now understand why most funeral directors do not go to church. Because
good point.
The preacher we meet on Monday through Saturday is not who you meet on Sunday morning.
That's another.
We get another attitude come Monday through Saturday. A lot of cockiness and it's mine and all this, and these people served and lived, and they the founders of the church that you pastor. And just so we clear, the church runs off of the people's money, the parishioners' money, but yet you treat the parishioners like they're second-class citizens. And I mean, some of the stuff, I'm telling you, some of these people who praise their pastor, I'm like this, if you only knew what your pastor had to say.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't think you would put them on that pedestal that you got them on. But I'm going to let you find that out for yourself. So I just
and that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people have to find out themselves. Because pastors is... That's all I'm going to say. Pastors?
And don't get me wrong, they're no different than
anybody else.
They're no different than the parishioners, because at the end of the day, we're all supposed to be believers, and we're all supposed to be living a life that's holy and pleasing and acceptable unto God.
Correct.
Listen, we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to get it right all the time. But at the end of the day, it's our job to uplift one another, not tear each other down.
Right.
It's our job to love one another,
and that's why
not show
was so
hate.
Angry, right?
Why?
Everybody in the AME church was so angry.
But I think that's just church across the board. Like, there's people that are just angry for no reason. Like, I remember growing up, the ushers at the door.
Yeah, they were just...
Spit out your gun!
They were so nasty. They were so mean. You couldn't even have a bottle of water in the sanctuary. Okay?
This is the Lord's house.
Yeah,
don't you bring that.
You couldn't even have no... Don't be in the pulpit.
But this is where I'm confused.
Or the choir stand, because...
You ushering us in and telling me what I can't do, but yet you get in the car and you smoke your cigarettes, or you're going to the bar when you leave here.
Okay.
And you're getting drunk. And then, again, you ain't never been married, but you got 4 kids. So help me make that make sense.
Make it make sense. I never... Listen, y'all.
I'm just saying. Anywho,
man,
because I could talk about this
for real
all day.
That's a whole nother segment. Look, we're gonna do that, a whole nother segment. Yes, we will do that. Yes. Wow.
So this is the thing. So as you learn to live in your truth, what was that one word of advice that you can give to someone who may be listening, or that may come across this episode as they're trying to process a way to come out and live in their truth? What would you tell them?
Be you. That's the way to go. Nowadays, you just have to be you, because if you hide who you are, it's just gonna build pressure on yourself that doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? So if you just stay true to you, just be you and yourself, I feel like you'll be the best person that you'll ever be.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we talk about a lot. It's just being you.
Being you.
And again, you had to take the time to separate to find you. I had to do the same thing. Find out. You have to separate from what you're familiar and learn that it's okay.
It is okay. It's definitely
to be
okay.
you. Listen, everybody's not going to like how you live. Everybody's not
for everybody. So
not at all.
If you have to be by yourself, be by yourself. I've had to learn to be by myself, because I was one of those people that I needed people around me, you know what I mean? But having people around me, I was never to find out who Aaron was. So once I started being by myself, you know, figuring out who I was able to really find out who this guy was.
Yeah, listen, and it takes discovering you first and then being able to live in it.
Right.
and be okay with being who you are.
Being okay with them.
Because it's one thing for us to, we hear so many people like, I ain't scared of nothing. I am who I am. And they put up this facade like they're so strong and they got it all together.
Those are the weakest ones.
Absolutely.
The ones that talk like that are the weakest ones. Like the weakest ones.
You out here trying to live life like that person and look like this one and do that one. But never find out who you are. Like, I don't give a darn if people don't like me.
And that's what, you know that we say that? I'm telling you, y'all, I used to care about how people used to think I looked, how I dressed, what shoes I had on, if my hair wasn't, cut the certain way. So don't care about what nobody else thinks. Just be you. Just be you.
Yeah. That's really it. Be you. And I, to myself, cared. I used to care.
I care.
So long as now I don't.
Yeah. I don't care.
My thing is, there's certain things that me, myself, I won't do because that's what I choose not to do.
Right.
That's how I choose not to show up in the earth. But then there's a set of things that it's like, I'm going to do this because I feel like doing it. You don't like it?
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
You say, "Oh, I don't like your hair today." Well, I
do. I did it today, so I guess I'm the one that likes it.
Listen,
I don't.
And I feel like when you know who you are and you can be who you are and live in your truth of who you are, you walk with a different level of confidence.
You walk with your head held high,
and it exudes off of you.
People can feel your presence in the room. Trust me, y'all.
Listen, I felt Erin's presence.
I'm telling you,
first time I met Erin. Okay,
she walked in.
I was loud. I was very loud.
She matched my energy. I think that's what it was.
Yes, and I think I was making faces or something, and he caught me and started laughing. Like, I always get caught. It never fails. I always get caught.
Oh my God.
I'm working on it, people. Working on it. Trying to work on these non-verbal communicational faces.
Because those be real too.
Woo! Listen here.
It's something about the faces.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm intentionally trying to do and be better at it.
I am too. Especially where I work at, I am definitely trying to.
Because they try you.
I work in customer service.
They try you. They really try you.
So you just gotta do it with a smile on your face, knowing darn well I am. Just smile.
Listen, just cheese, spreading vibes.
That's it.
Listen, man, I appreciate you, Erin.
Thank you so much for having me. Really,
having a conversation.
I really do.
And just being open and willing to talk about it. Because again, you never know what your story may inspire or help somebody else and help the next. And there's so many people out here, people that I personally know, that their families are not open to that lifestyle, and they're scared to be who they are, and they try to live inside. I'm like, you don't even look right.
That's
like, you look weird trying to fake something.
And that was me. I was very uncomfortable. So in order to make myself comfortable, I just had to be true to who I am. Right.
Well, I appreciate you and thank you for your time and sharing your story and talking about where you come from and where you are now.
Thank you.
As a man that shows up in this world that's not so kind out here.
Especially where we are.
Yeah. But you survived and you're living in your truth, and that's a great thing to be.
Yes.
So thank you for that conversation. I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation with Erin. Listen, I want you to share it, like, subscribe, share, let people know about the podcast. There's so many topics, array of topics that we talk about all the time. But let your friends, let your family, let your coworkers know. Listen to the episodes while you're driving into work. Whatever the case may be. But as we exit out, I want to thank you for tuning in. Always remember to be you, to love you, and see you for who God has called you to be. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one, guys.
This is the close of another episode.